In the annals of history, there are countless stories of men and women who have risen from obscurity to positions of prominence despite the odds stacked against them. One such story is that of Jephthah, a leader in Israel during the time of the Judges. His story, recorded in Judges 11 and 12, is one of rising above rejection, leading with faith, and grappling with the weight of promises. Born to Gilead, a prominent man of his time, Jephthah's birth was unconventional. His mother was a prostitute, and despite his father's recognition, Jephthah's half-brothers couldn't accept him. His family saw his origin as a stain on their honor, and they made their disdain clear. As soon as his brothers were old enough, they chased him away, saying, "You will not share in our father's inheritance, because you are the son of another woman." It was not just a rejection of Jephthah, it was a rejection of his right to belong. Hurt and angry, Jephthah fled to the land of Tob, far from his family and the only home he knew. But even in exile, Jephthah couldn't hide his leadership qualities. Though he was rejected, a band of rebels, desperate men, gathered around him, and he became their leader. His strength, wisdom, and tactical mind made him a natural commander, and though society had discarded him, he found a new purpose in the wilderness. In time, however, a threat arose that would change everything: the Ammonites. They waged war against Israel, and the very people who had rejected Jephthah found themselves in desperate need of a strong leader. The elders of Gilead knew that no one could lead them to victory better than the man they had once cast aside. They sent word to Jephthah, pleading with him to return and lead the fight against their enemies. It was an ironic twist of fate. The man they had scorned was now their last hope. But Jephthah was no fool. He had every reason to turn his back on them, as they had done to him. "Didn't you hate me and drive me from my father's house?" he asked. "Why do you come to me now when you're in trouble?" The elders, humbled and desperate, replied, "We need you. Lead us in battle, and we will make you ruler over all of Gilead." For Jephthah, this was more than an offer of leadership. It was an opportunity for redemption. But he wasn't about to take the elders at their word without certainty. He pressed them further, ensuring that their promise was not just out of desperation, but a genuine offer to restore his honor and place in the community. "If I go with you, and the Lord gives me victory over the Ammonites, will you really make me ruler over all the people?" he asked. The elders swore an oath, calling upon the Lord as their witness. Satisfied, Jephthah returned with the elders, and the people of Gilead made him their commander. But Jephthah, a man of both strategy and diplomacy, didn't rush into war. Instead, he first sought to resolve the conflict with the Ammonites through peaceful negotiation. He sent messengers to the king of Ammon, asking why they had attacked Israel's land. The king replied that Israel had stolen the land when they came out of Egypt, and now he wanted it back. Jephthah responded with a detailed recount of Israel's journey from Egypt, explaining that they had never taken land from Moab or Ammon. When Israel needed passage through these territories, they had been denied and had taken an alternate route. It was only after the Amorites attacked Israel that God delivered the land into their hands. Jephthah argued that it was not Israel, but the Lord, who had given them the land. "Shouldn't you keep whatever your god Chemosh gives you, and we will keep whatever the Lord our God has given us?" Jephthah asked. But his reasoning fell on deaf ears, and the king of Ammon refused to listen. At this point, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he prepared for battle. With faith and determination, Jephthah led his people to war. But before marching into battle, he made a vow to the Lord, a vow that would forever change his life. He promised, "If you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering." With that, Jephthah led the army of Israel against the Ammonites, and the Lord gave him a great victory. They devastated the enemy, destroying 20 towns and securing peace for Israel. But the triumph was bittersweet. As Jephthah returned home, his heart soared with victory, but it quickly turned to anguish. The first person to come out of his house to greet him was his daughter, his only child, dancing with joy to celebrate her father's victory. The realization of his vow crashed down upon him like a heavy weight. He tore his clothes and cried, "Oh, my daughter, you have brought me down, and I am devastated, for I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." Despite the pain and heartbreak, Jephthah's daughter accepted her fate with grace and dignity. She understood the gravity of her father's vow and urged him to fulfill it, though she asked for 2 months to roam the hills and mourn her fate with her friends. After this time she returned, and Jephthah honored his vow. Jephthah's story is one of triumph and tragedy, but also of faith and leadership under immense pressure. His life offers many lessons that resonate with us today. Jephthah's journey from being cast out by his family to leading them in victory shows us that our beginnings don't define our destiny. Even when others reject or underestimate us, we can rise above and achieve great things through resilience, hard work, and faith. Jephthah had every reason to refuse the call of the elders who had wronged him, but instead he chose to lead them, showing the power of forgiveness and how true leaders rise above personal grievances for the greater good. Jephthah's vow, made in a moment of emotion, had lasting consequences. It reminds us to be careful with our words and promises, especially in moments of passion. Thoughtful decisions prevent future heartache. Jephthah's trust in the Lord throughout his trials and battles was unwavering. He stepped into leadership, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. We, too, are often called to act with courage and faith, especially when the path is difficult. Jephthah's vow is a sobering reminder of the cost of duty. His willingness to fulfill his promise, even when it meant great personal loss,